Welcome to the Mantic Universe podcast for another Kings of War episode, and this time with our Abyssal or Forces of the Abyss review for Fracture. And I'm here with Menai.
Hi guys.
To talk a little bit about all things changes, the good, the bad, the ugly, what we like, don't like, and what we're looking forward to. And first of all, we are going to look a little bit into the background as a small teaser, because this will be, I think the background section will be covered by Dave as usual. But there's a nice artwork in the book with the, bloody cardinal fighting the brother mark. And yes, you heard right, it's the brother mark and the Order of the Green Lady go together fighting the abyssal hordes in this book. And I leave the outcome of the battle and the spoilers for Dave and for all those who want to read it themselves on release. But yeah, it's how to say, the story about the brotherhood, the brother mark, and the Order of the Green Lady are satisfying, or they are resolved in a satisfying way, at least for me as a brother mark player. So I can look forward to it, and we may look into what the future brings for those armies. So that said, it's some nice artworks there in the book as well, some great army shots. So there's a lot of background for those of who like the Abyss for that kind of thing. And why we also have some great and nice rules changes as well. So, was working on a Abyss army for quite some while, paused because I wanted to wait what Fracture brings at the beginning of Fourth. And now I hope it's still enough time that I can take a fully painted Abyss army to the Clash of Kings UK. Maybe. Should be doable. No, fast painting, just a weekend and get things done. So, sorry
Yes.
for the dog in the background. It's like, yeah. Slept the whole day behind me, and now that we start recording a podcast, he need to say hello as well. So, dear listener, I hope you don't mind. Right.
All times the same.
Yeah. So let's jump right into the command orders. Menai, the first one, Flashnet on a 4+. What do you think about it?
I think it's good addition for the Abyssals. Especially it replaces the armor for against range attacks. You now get units with regeneration orders only. The unit gains +1 regeneration. I think that's a very nice Abyss order. Because a lot of units have regenerations. So, small spoiler here, some units have gained regeneration with the update. So you have more units with regeneration. And it's a good command to sustain your army. So if you get like 6 wounds in from shots from range attacks or something, you can just regenerate them more easily.
Yeah, so with most units having 5+, getting a +1, so it's 4. So on 6 wounds, regenerate 3 on average is doable. So this is like, I think it's a better fitting command than the big shield like one. And it's also not that how to say, not the usual heal we get, but still powerful in the right situation. And yeah, so a good addition for the small one. The next one is Hellfire, which is actually Burn the Sinners, just with a different name. So you get your increased fireball order, which is also great on your shooting. This was also a good command. It stays there, but with a different name for reasons. And the next two, so we have 4 commands in total. The next one are both on 5+, and these are the more unique ones. We have Blessing of the Dark Gods, which is for charging this turn only, and the unit gains Elite and Vicious, while also if it attacks in combat this turn, suffers ND3 plus 2 damage without a nerf test, with N being the successful dice. So this is a great risk reward command, because you want to get it off, but using too many dice and you get, well, on 3 dice you get a maximum of 11 damage.
Ouch.
It's a tricky one. So I really like it for the Abyss, because it's a trade-off. If you really want that one unit gone and you have an already damaged unit that will die most likely anyway, you just cast it on, get the command off. More damage doesn't really matter. Just be careful that you don't get devastated. That can be. So that's why it's a risk reward. If you already have enough damage on that unit, you say, it might die. That it's also when you can get, it might get devastated the moment I cast this, and then my Vicious and Elite are gone or wasted for half the attacks. So, yeah, very situational, very rewarding, very risky. I would say very thematic for the Abyss. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a great risk and reward order, and I also like it. It's a good theme for the Abyss, with cursing your own units in a way, with taking damage on their own, and dealing out the damage even more, and with that, we take a look at some units later. We get new hordes with 30 attacks, and that command on that horde is scary. That's a real scary one. You get so much punch in there, or even on a troop of Molochs, it's devastating. Even if they have already vicious, the elite helps out so much.
Yeah.
That you get some extra wounds there, or even a surprise flank from some gargoyles, and you give them that, and you get some more wounds in.
And if the big if the unit survives, if they survive the counter charge, if you have this on a horde that already has a lot of nerf, the increased regeneration fits nicely in, because then adding a bonus to that, so that it's more likely that you get half the damage recovered afterwards. So this is a nice combination in play to use that on those like small chaff units as well. So
small chaff units may not survive, but on small chaff units, if you need to throw them away, give them that. It's maybe they deal 1 or 2 wounds with that command. They are maybe dealing 3 or 4 wounds.
Yeah, it works. So yeah, it gets scary. So a lot of opportunities. Just thinking of it, you have like gargoyles. We cover them later, but I think gargoyles are an interesting target for that. You just need to be careful for not getting devastated because of the low nerf, but they are maybe as a very risky target, but it also a very rewarding target for both of those commands. So, and the last one that the Abyss gets as a new is the Ultimate Betrayal, and this is a more, say, complicated one. Units with the upper circle
interesting
trait.
One.
It's units with the upper circle trait only. And until the start of its next turn, an enemy unit that attacks this unit in combat uses the meal and crushing strength values of this unit, while magical artifacts benefit as usual. And it's only one unit that will trade, and the attacking player has to decide. Right, so this is like the thing that will go on chaff or on your flame bearers, and you hope that with the change in the bad meal values without crushing strength, that the attack doesn't hurt as much as it would be, or the charge, better said. And then but the opponent still can decide if there are two units that charge this unit. He can decide to get in a low value chaff as well that wouldn't have done anyway. Take the change with that unit and have the better one too. So well, it needs some forward planning, I would say, because when you expect a double charge or miss that there's a possibility for something like that, it's kind of wasted. What do you feel?
I think that's a very interesting command. You can set up situations like you give it to gargoyles and just fly in front of a unit, like 1 millimeter away. Gargoyles aren't that deep, so you maybe not even get seen from other units. And you can say yes, that one cavalry or that one horde can only charge the gargoyles and use the melee specifications of those gargoyles. I think that's an amazing trade to have to just say, okay, you're doing nothing. You maybe hit my gargoyles. I mean, you don't need to give it to gargoyles, but if it's a unit that doesn't have a lot of attacks, a horde is maybe not the best target, but if it's like
Yeah.
a unit with like 15 attacks and you use the melee stats of the gargoyles, there are realistic chances that they survive that.
Yeah,
And you've
it's an
taken out one
yeah.
unit there.
So it's easy when you expect certain so still again situational. It is really both. So you have overall we have two general orders now. So because regeneration is always useful, especially in the late game, we have Hellfire as a fireball spell that is useful in the early game up to late game because increased range damage. And there are two situational orders with that need some forward thinking, that need things to be set up. They are also on 5 plus, so you want to add more dice to them to be sure that you get them when you want them. With Blessing of the Dark Gods having this trade-off that more dice can hurt you yourself as well. And the opponent still can work around them to a point. So it's like, yeah, also they're thematic for how do I say, Abyss army. We are talking about small little devils out of hell, and so
You curse yourself to
yeah,
take damage and be empowered from it, or you curse the enemy with being debuffed from it
yeah,
and
so,
taking penalties from it. And I think that's an interesting theme for the abyssals.
yeah, right. And then the Arcane Library spell, which is a unique spell. We actually have
Actually,
two of
too.
them. Actually, two. This is a unique edition. We start with the smaller one first. This is Whispers of Wickedness. 24-inch, close combat. If any hits are scored until the beginning of the caster's next turn, any unit issuing a command order must subtract 1 from their dice rolls. So you have this commander debuff around you. Like fits in with Hex that gives the debuff to casters. You now have also a debuff available to for command issues. This is an well, a risk reward as well because depending on how, because you need to buy them as a unique spell, you only have one of them, so placement even within 24-inch is important. The opponent can work around them by just moving the commanders away or double down on commands, because if he has enough hero you only can curse one, not necessarily you need to use them for commands but someone else. So this is depends for opponents that are low on heroes or low on commanders. This is a more good. Put the
And
word into that.
actually, that unique is special. We come later to it on the warlord, but we have one warlord that gets it for free, and you can buy it extra, so you can have it 2 times in your army.
Yeah. So you can double down on it and really build around it. This is something an interesting addition, but more to that on when we talk about warlords. And then we have the dark bit that is like, was it the Bael that had this rule in third edition or a similar sounding rule, and I think it was Baal. Um,
Maybe I
the dark
don't
bit. I think
remember.
so. Me and names, dear listener, but I think we got a similar sounding rule from that guy in the past. And so, if any hits scored, place a round marker on the table anywhere within 12 inch of the caster and clear of any units. It may be placed in terrain, and when the marker is in play, the Dread and Cloak of Death special rules affecting enemy units immediately after the marker is placed. And if it's in open terrain, it doesn't block line of sight, and remove it at the start of your next turn. So this is like really you get rip open the ground, get an abyss emerging, and then Dread and Cloak of Death to all units surrounding it. Or this, it's an interesting one because you can make taking objectives harder by this, or get units in when you want to have a big close combat or a big combat somewhere around the game with multiple units involved. Get the marker near, hurt your opponent's melee units before the combat starts. This is like, it's a very
And
interesting one.
it's an interesting one for a spellcaster. I mean, you even can argue that you cast rather this than Bane Chant because you do one wound and you have the Cloak of Death and the Dread, so you have
Yeah.
brutal 1-2. So it's like 2 wounds. So Bane Chant maybe gives you 2, maybe gives you 3 wound. It depends a bit on the armor of the enemy. But this one gives you at least 2 wounds for the nerf check in the end. And if you have like 2 or 3 units fighting in that marker range there, you basically Bane Chanted 2 or 3 units. I think that is an excellent spell that you want to place every round. Like, I don't see a reason not to place it.
Yeah. So that's really an interesting one because it's you don't want to overload your casters with too many spells, but then the warlock is usually only played with, I think, one spell anyway.
One or
So
two.
replacing one or two, replacing Bane Chant with the Dark Bit.
It's also the
Oh,
same points. I think Bane Chant is also 30 points.
so get me
That's
caught
probably...
off guard.
Yes,
So
I
yeah,
do this.
so it's Bane Chant 2 for 20 points, or the Dark Bit 2 for 30 points. So it's a little bit more
Yeah.
expensive with the chance of affecting multiple units instead of just one. On the other hand, you can split attacks now. So if you have a favor in combat with a large unit, Bane Shot might still be the better choice. Maybe depends a little bit on the army if you want to take it. So you can build an army with this in mind, but
Still, if you can split attacks, there are 2 enemy units. So if you place the Dark Pit, you've done 1 wound there, 1 wound there, and you have Dread for both of the nerf rolls. So it's like 4 wounds. So
yeah,
I think that's worth it.
yeah. But we may discuss this a little bit more when we go into the spellcasters to check out which one might benefit a little bit. And let's go
Yeah.
to the core and auxiliary units. And well, let's start with SDR, the lower abyssals. There you have. Are there any changes?
I don't think
I
so.
haven't
No,
spotted
they're
one,
all the
so
points the same.
yeah.
They're
So
the same also with the exchange
yeah, and
shields
regeneration. So
for two-handed.
nothing big there. No big points changes. The
Yeah, but
Sukubi get more interesting because now we have regeneration in addition to ensnare and stealthy. A little bit more expensive, but this also means they can be targeted with the command to increase regeneration. So they have
Yes,
regeneration 6 plus, so they have 5 plus combined with ensnare and stealthy, so more
and
tough than before.
and a nice nerf of 17, so they can get to their regeneration, especially with
Yeah,
snare and snare.
they're not dying off. It might also go in the troop, so nerf stayed the same with 13, but it might be interesting that you can now more regenerate a Sukubi troop so that they are staying around for longer, especially in. You have to keep in mind that because shooting only wafers, they can regenerate or that they don't die immediately if they're only targeted by shooting.
Yeah,
So there is a chance that you get things they stay in combat in the game a little bit longer in there. Right. So
yeah, but Sukobi with stealthy are usually not the target you want to shoot.
no, definitely. So they're not your usual shooting target, but then in general, when people know that they can regenerate that one or two wounds you lay on them, um, you don't really bother
Yeah.
anymore.
Even more unattractive, even if they're only on a 3 plus
Yeah,
defense, but you're hitting less and the wounds you do are regenerated. So it's really not worth it to shoot
yeah. So
Sukobi now.
it's really more like this. So just having this already they can put play other opponents off of giving them as a target, unless there's nothing better around it. So right, flame bearers as far as I have seen are the same.
They're
N-
unchanged.
no big changes.
Interesting is that flame bearers are the middle circle, so you can't give them the debuffs that they
Yeah,
change the melee stats. So what you proposed beforehand with the command, you can't give it to
yeah.
them. It's only upper circle.
Yeah, keep that in mind. So the state middle circle, so this is really something in. So the upper circle are the lower abyssals, the Sukubi, the Hellhounds, the Imps, and also the Gargoyles from the core, but not the Flame Bearers. So this is like, yep, works. Hellhounds, as we talk about them, they are the same.
Mm, they are the same.
No changes again. It's not sure.
It's,
I'm not sure about them in general. It's like they are your cheap cavalry unit in the core choice. They have good amount of attacks, but only thunderous one. But then they are nimble with defense 4 plus. They have no regeneration. Melee 4 plus. Although they might be an interesting target to for the betrayal command. So giving them elite and vicious with 16 attack in a flank, and this hurts. So your nimble light cavalry can actually push something in that case. Um, well, and with 16 nerf, they might be surviving that as well. So
yeah, it's a keep unlock unit that can be placed on a flank and threaten those flank charges with their speed 9. It's nice, and with nimble they also get surprising charges around of terrain, around other units, so they're good flanking threat to protect flanks or to force the enemy to
yeah,
protect his flanks.
so imps stayed the same as well, and the last unit are the gargoyles that more or less I don't see any
Hmm.
changes either
No,
on them.
they stayed the same, but
Yeah,
with the new commands, they're interesting. Also, they only
yeah,
have troop auxiliary. We get to the warlord later, but keep in mind that you can take one as an unlocking, and if you
yeah.
take the warlord for it, and I think then it's a really good unlocking troop. But you're bound your Warlocks lot for
Yeah,
it. So I don't know.
yeah. We need to
We
check.
we'll
Warlords are
see. We can discuss that later if
yeah.
we go to the
It's really nice.
Warlord.
So the
Is
Warlocks give a
that's
lot of options at the moment. This is really so. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
tempting to talk about Warlords first, but then without context of the units, it's a tricky one to judge what people want to hear first and what we want to talk about first. But keep in mind, gargoyles with regeneration 4 plus, they can get into 3 plus with the command. They can get vicious and elite now with 10 attacks, which is for a flying unit likely to get in flanks as well or in the rear even, so they are not dangerous. So well, can work around on some things. So it's an interesting, even if people haven't thought about them taking them yet because it's like they fall out of favor for reasons in fourth edition. They are interesting again. And with the specialist section, we get. Okay, should we
That,
have teased it a little bit? Maybe we start with the last one first, just to annoy people. So tortured. Oh no, let's get with the least interesting one because we have Abyssal Guard now. There we have Abyssal Horsemen, we have Berserkers and Tortured Souls, and well, the Berserkers more or less are what they are. They got a little bit more expensive. We have think everything are the same. I'm not sure.
the
Just
retaliate is gone.
yep, and replaced by Fearless.
Yes.
So that's why they're more expensive. And yeah, so Retaliate wasn't a really loved special rule in the beginning because it's a
It's
trade-off for situational crushing one, and this is like
yeah. It's too situational to ever have that. I played a lot of games at the release, and I never had seen anyone that could use that
yeah,
rule. On the other hand, I would have liked to withdraw with a unit, but it had retaliate and wasn't allowed to withdraw.
yeah. So this is
So
the big issue in here. It's the trade-off. So yeah, we may see because Mantic has the community survey going anyway, so we may see what people think about Retaliate in general if Mantic releases this or goes down, and then we have the. I think it was announced to have some more changes with Arrogant, so we see how these things develop if rules that are not that good or not well received or too situational for a liking of for the people change in future or not. And well, at least in that case, if it doesn't really fit a unit very well, it's replaced with something different, which is a good change. And well, the slightly point increase I think is worth the fearless, so the berserkers get through your
mm,
shooting to the target.
definitely.
Yeah. Then we
And
have the yeah, sorry.
yeah, because the berserkers you want to have them in the open field, and they only have defense 4, so they are a premium target for shooting, and to have the fearless slapped on there is nice to
Yeah.
have.
And so the other unit are the Abyssal Horsemen, which are, well, 5 points cheaper. They have
Yeah,
still Thunderous 3, they have still Regeneration 5 plus, but their Fearless is replaced by Headstrong. So they are now your average, general, vanilla, cavalry unit out there with melee 3 plus, defense 5 plus, 18 attacks, 16 plus for 220 points as the regiment with the upper circle trait. And yeah, so maybe one unit with a Strider artifact and you're good to go. They get
I
more
mean,
interesting with the champion, I would say, but let's tease it. People
I'm
stay.
I mean, they are also an interesting target for the curse target because,
Mm,
yes, you get the melee 3 of them, but you get no crushing from them, and they have the
yeah,
defense 5, so they can charge in, and if you charge them back or hit them back, you maybe don't get crushing,
yeah.
or you lose the crushing you have on your units because
So
you
this
don't
is really,
get the thunderous.
yeah, it's an interesting observation, I would say, because in this case you can charge an enemy or opponent elite unit that may have also melee 3 plus already, but if they have a high crushing value, you would still take them away and let them grind down, being grinded down by Abyssal Horsemen. So this is really options, I would say. With Nerf 16 plus, you
Options.
options. With Nerf 16 plus, you may just a second wrong. You might also give him the blessing of the dark gods on the charge, because with elite and vicious and thunderous free, if you get the clear charge
That
in, they
hurts.
hurt.
Yes.
And even if they get enough damage to be at risk, you have regeneration 4 plus if another command get up in the next round, and you can heal back. So this is like, oh, I think they work really nicely with the commands together in those classes
Yes,
here. So
there comes a lot of synergy back that they have lost
yeah,
from the transition from the third in the fourth edition. Abyssal felt really unsynergetic. Nothing worked together, and now it comes nicely together. You have a lot of options and
yeah.
synergies that work together, and if you have a lot of options, you can fight better and decide on the battlefield what to use. And
Might also not be the easiest army to play in that case, because there are no like straight, at least for me, I would call it not straightforward things. So things are very situational. Might suit me because I am that kind of player that just decides on the fly what he want to do. So okay, again,
so I like the idea of increasing the ceiling of the Abyssal Horde, because you can take one premeditated battle plan into the game. If you're a more casual player, but if you're an experienced player, you have a lot of options that you can decide on the fly, and that maybe turn a battle or help you win a battle. So that's really good.
or let
I
you
also
lose a
like
battle
that
because you
idea.
judge the damage gaining wrong and destroy your own units because you risk too much. So this is like, yep, ow, I am the listener. How to say? I played this army for a reason, and I even like it more. So this I'm really looking forward to finally finish painting that one and get it to Kings. I mean, it just to sorry for interrupting the review. I mean, not finishing my slow grow league approach was also mainly because I choose Abyss to play and then heard and learned that Forces Abyss are in the next book, and so I wasn't sure what I should do. I just built the units that I wanted to build anyway, but then paused because I didn't know if I should go as planned into, because how to say, we had 3 specialist choice options before. I wanted to have at least 1 unit of horsemen. I wanted to have 2 units of tortured souls, and then I thought, nah, tortured souls, they are resin models, metal, not sure about to get them. And well, now let's decide if I still want to have 2 units of them, because they changed a lot. They
Yes,
are slower. They hit the same. They have the same depth. So we have speed 7 on 8 and 16 attacks, nerf 14 and 17, but they are 10 points, or yeah, 10 points cheaper for the upper circle trade. They no
but they
longer
lost
fly.
fly.
They're still height 2. They're still life leech 2. Um, we have Thunderous 2 instead of Crushing 1 plus Thunderous 1. But we have Strider and we have Pathfinder. So Well, I think I still want 2 units of them. It's like, hey, we have your
They- I mean, they are still an amazing unit. You can place them at flanks, maybe with a unit of Hellhounds together. Yes, they don't fly anymore, so it's easier to defend against them. They are not the amazing unit that jumps over 2 units to just hit that one unit there in the flank. That was a bit silly, to be honest,
yeah,
for the points that you paid for them. But with Strider, with Pathfinder, you can place them in forest. You can just walk through forest or other terrain. If they're placed in terrain, they're still safe there. I think they are also, yeah, they're upper circle, so they are a premium target for the curse. So you're hitting on 4s and have no crush.
yeah.
So hitting on 5s if they're standing in some
In
terrain
terrain, so if
with,
the
with
opponent is
no
zoned, yeah,
crush. So that's a premium
a little
spot
bit
for
more.
them with the command. They're but they're still a super high threat with Thunderous 2 and Strider. They are getting those crush 2 on the charge. But not on continued rounds. I also think
Yeah, so
that's a
let's
good trade-off.
less grindy to a point, but we have with how to say life leech 2 still there. Um, so to keep in mind, they have life leech instead of regeneration means they are not a target for our improved command order in that regard. So they need to survive on their own. They need to do damage to survive and grind something down. Um, so
I
yeah,
think
more
you
I
can
would say
just
more
give
tricky to play.
more tricky to play. I mean, I think you can give them the Hangman script for Life League 3, and then they have a lot of sustain because
Yeah,
regenerating 3 wounds is a lot.
yeah,
And they're fast enough, so you and annoying enough with the commands to just place them up front and maybe even just if they're sitting in terrain, maybe even just give them the fireball command
yeah,
and say, "Hello, guys, we're here now."
yeah. It's yeah. I would say that the fireball command. If you play a troop, put them in the forest, get fireball off, and if you have a favoring targets, you can still charge them from out there. Um, Thing is, with artifact, when I say I want to play 2 units, of course the first unit obviously get increased life leech with the artifact. It's a no-brainer. For the second unit, might it gets more tricky, giving them improved tankiness or get more into hitting power. Not sure which
I
artifacts
mean, you could make a regiment of them, give them the hell of confidence for self-inspiring, and just send them off to a flank.
yeah, could be
That
interesting
that
as well. I mean, could be also going with like the diadem of dragonkind. Also, it's expensive with Fireball 4, but then you have a Fireball command, so don't increase that anymore. So that gets more interesting to to play them. Elite on a second unit might be a good choice as well. But also the increased speed, like you have one unit with better life leech and another with the brew of haste. Also brutal might work well with them.
I mean, for
Uh,
brutal, you have the spell,
yeah,
and then you basically don't need brutal in the army because you can do that over the
it
spell. But
depends on how
that's a
you
choice to make.
that's a choice. Yeah, I mean, one thing is now thinking that you can use them on both flanks to protect yourself, and put the one with increased life leech on one flank, where you also put your unique spell uh, to get Dread and the Cloak of Death, and then get one unit with Brutal on the other side to support things or combats that are outside the range of your spell. So
Could
options.
be, could,
I like that. I'm
yeah.
really I'm kind of hyped. So I see that some are not, or not everyone will get really into that one, but I really like those changes a lot. So I didn't expect them to lose fly. Actually, it's but everything they get, it's a nice exchange, and uh, I really
They are
like them.
still a worthwhile unit. You need to play
Yeah,
them differently, but I think they're in a good spot.
yeah. And for the models, as I said before in one of the other episodes, the Mantic shop lists them still as metal models, but others have told me they are now resin, and it might be just the listening or the description in the web shop be wrong. They are not on the vault yet. We have just checked before this episode. We have found some
Yet.
yet some
Ma-
nice alternatives, I think.
Yeah, but I think a lot of those models from the reworked armies will hit the vault with the
Yeah,
rework. So I think there will be in the next 2 and 3 months models for the forces of the abyss, for forces of
yeah.
nature, for Basileans, and the
They are
ogres.
definitely not
They're
in the next month because I think this preview was as by recording of this episode shown today. So they are not in this. As a small teaser for the next review episode, there's Basilea in the next month coming. So might be that the Abyss is the month after. So we have to check and wait and see.
but
Yeah, well, but it's good.
but
So in
but
that case, I am just a little bit undecided because if I want them to take Clash of Kings, I need them more earlier instead of later. So my idea for them is just to get myself a regiment of undead ghouls and a zombie horde, and then make my two regiments of tortured souls out of that one. I'm even thinking about if I should go with more models and not less. I mean, there are large infantry high too, but and say like nine models per troop or something like that on the web page. But I'm actually thinking to overcrowd the base with them because to really make them as tortured souls and not just as individual models, but like the base of the Bloody Cardinal to have several, some coming out of the ground, some flying around, some being higher up, and then the plastic zombies would be a great addition. And maybe if they're
that's
really resin and I can get them 2 or 3 of the original ones somewhere in between.
that could be a nice idea. I see that effect, that there comes the wall of dread
Yeah,
that's coming. I think that's a nice idea to model
yeah,
them.
that way. Okay, and then our last and newest specialist units. It's everyone has waited for them. Everyone was disappointed that they were gone, and now they are back. This is the Abyssal Guard. Um, no picture of that unit in the books, so I guess that we either get resin upgrades for the lower abyssal or full resin models in the vault, or maybe both. And right, we have the choice for a troop, a regiment, or a horde, with the horde coming at 280 points, 25 attacks, defense 5 plus, nerf 24, melee 3 plus with crushing 1, fearless and regeneration 5 plus, and the usual option to exchange the shields for lower death and more crushing. Do we like them?
I definitely like them. Small spoiler there. There's a warlord that moves them down to core. I
Yeah,
think that's a good mention on that point. And I think they're a really hard unit, especially with the new commands that you can give them, vicious and elite, the 24 attacks on 3 plus, crush 2.
yeah.
They
One,
have the nerf 24, so you don't have to fear as much that you overroll the damage.
yeah, at least that not in the
Uh,
beginning, so you can get them early on, take, like I said, 11 damage on the max and still be good to go
yeah,
with the high nerf. Or you can make them also an anvil unit, not an ambush, sorry, anvil unit. Um,
and
And because
They are
regeneration 4 plus with death 5, this is like, yep,
that's definitely an anvil unit, but you also can make them a hammer if you give them the crushing strength to the wishers. Maybe even make them faster. They are quite slow with speed 5, so I don't
yep,
see them charging. Everyone will stay away from them, so they're really great for objectives, especially the horde. You place them on there. That's 4 unit strength on an objective, and nobody wants to go near them because they die.
yeah,
They just simple die.
yeah. And well, so Brew of Haste would be a nice addition there, or Mad of Madness. Um, could be some interesting choice for artifact. Could also get in the Diadem of Dragonkind to work better with the Fireball command to get something an expensive anvil that can still do range damage. So this is like, yeah, and it's some
Yeah,
awesome. Oh,
just moving forward and saying, "Here, take the fireball. Come charge me."
yeah, right. So let's then move to support, and here we have our usual units. We have the Molochs there, our hard hitting, low defense units.
They stayed the same basically, and
Yep,
they also kept retaliate. A lot of the support unit kept their retaliate,
yeah,
whilst a lot of the specialist and core lost it. So the
yep,
support kept their retaliate, but they're also most times stronger units that survive a double charge or are fighting 2 units.
yep.
So
So
I think that's okay on them.
yeah, I mean it's also a fitting. Uh, so let's see what is coming up in future with that special rule in general. But it's I think it's a fitting that our support unit like Moloch, the um, or the Nagari are not able to withdraw. So those are the units that are going in but never going back. So at least
Yeah,
that fits, and we may see if the benefit in future is better. But it's also like keep in mind it might be, and this for undisclosed things, it might be that retaliate doesn't actually cost points because it's a trade-off. So your units are just getting something and losing something else. And because this is one criticism I've heard a lot is that people say they don't want to pay points for a special rule. It doesn't work at all. But it might be that you don't pay points for them. And this is like, so keep that a little bit in mind when you think about it. And I think for a more narrative leaning player, Moloch's not being able to withdraw is something I see fitting, even if the benefit is very situational. So you're still hammer unit, nerf 19, 20 attacks, regeneration 5 plus. So yeah, still worth taking.
yeah, definitely. Because the small spoiler there, you can move them down in the specialist choice. So yeah, they're definitely worth taking. Worth their
Yeah,
points, even if they are unlocking now and not need unlocks
yeah,
to other units to unlock them now.
yeah.
So you can get in the more elite army choices, have lesser units there, but more quality units.
Yeah, definitely. So next one is the Croneas.
He
To be
also
careful
stayed
for
the
not. Yeah,
same as far as I've seen. I mean, Chroneas is interesting because you have the spell now with the Cloak of Death, and you also have the Cloak of Death.
yeah,
So it doesn't stack, but I think it's still worth it to take the Chroneas alone for the heal he provides for your army. So you just roll your regeneration and then see what needs more healing, and then the Chroneas can give them more health points extra on
I
top.
mean, you now have also to be careful because he can stack up some damage. It's like he might be an interesting target for our Blessing of the Dark Gods because D6+6 attacks on meal 3 plus with Vicious and Elite. That can hurt, but at the same time,
He's
if
already
you
hurting, and if he hitting more attacks and doing
yeah,
more damage, he can get really, really crazy.
but he will also stack up some high damage in that case because getting damage from your spell, then getting damage from temporal rapture. So it's um it's an
I
interesting
mean,
choice.
there's still
Let's
the
say
option for the double Chroneas. He's not unique,
yeah,
and you can just heal it, a Chroneas with another Chroneas.
yeah.
So maybe that's a playstyle, or even the triple one, to say let's go around three
I
commands.
wouldn't go for a triple one. So a double
Yeah,
Corneas would still be. So if you really want to go in this heavy elite one, with moving the Molochs and then getting double Corneas and this kind of thing and really play into that, but it's then a very say elite army as in low model count. So need still to compensate your scenario play with the cheap lower abyssal units. So but it's an option. It's there. Not for me, I have to say, but it's an option. And then we got our unique support option with the Well of Souls that is now also available as SDL in the vault. Um, do we see any big changes here?
I don't think so. The points stayed the same, and that's mostly an indicator that the special rules stayed the same. That's
Yeah.
the quickest lookup.
So
Mm.
no guarantee on for the demonic life force if there are some small changes and we overread them, but it's likely the Well of Souls being your thing that stays. Then we got the Nagari, which are also the same. No big surprises here.
I
Um,
mean, the Nagari were phenomenal after the Kings. That was one good unit you wanted to play. With the rallying, the only rallying options in the Forces of the Abyss, and
yeah,
they only have 12 attacks, but those 12 attacks are really hard hitting. Yeah,
yeah,
they are nice, and you can enforce that now with the Wishes and the
elite.
Elite. So
Yeah,
those high quality attacks hit even more. Can be an option in the late game if they really need to take to the field now. It's
yeah,
not the first unit you want to send in, but it can be a target for that, and that
yeah.
can change
So
games.
I'm still not sure if I want to have more than one unit in support. I'm tempted to take two, but not not sure if it's really worth it. I'm in general
I,
not a friend of this chariot-sized unit or the large monster units. I am more this how to say that the MMU guy, the multiple medium-sized units instead of too
yeah.
many hordes and large regiments. Yeah, but see, maybe for someone else it's an option. What do you think?
For I think one Nagiri is enough because they have that big base with the carrier base and the rallying on that. The big base gives them a really big bubble that you can cover, and they are second rank unit, so you want them behind some lower abyssals or something. So they can charge in with the new multi-charge rules. They are for a really good second row attack, and you can still cover a lot of your army. You want your army most times compact to have those synergies working,
Hmm.
and I don't think you need more than one Nagiri in your hard base block to have that rallying, and I don't think you need it on the flanks or somewhere because they are fast enough to go with flanking units on the flank, but they have neither Pathfinder nor
They have Pathfinder.
Strider.
They
They
missed
have Pathfinder.
definitely.
but
Um,
no
yeah.
strider, so that you could place them
Also, no
safe.
regenerations. So this is the thing. If you have two on them on the flanks and they need to be alone on survival, you can't rely on regeneration and don't have the heal anymore. Right. So the last support unit is the Abyssal Fiend. Um, so that I
He,
don't say
oh,
anything wrong, still 205 points, still retaliate, still uh, vicious, still brutal, and
and
still upper circle trade only for rallying. So nothing changed. No news here. Model wise, still your large resin models without wings. Um, Although what I have done, I have used Nagari models on a 75 mil base as my fiends because they work well for something a big monster without wings. Um, so with the new command orders, well, they're obviously a target for the fireball spell to increase that one. Um, with but for the others, I'm not sure if they need the commands there. What do you think?
I think the Abyssal Fiend falls off because of the railing. It has a tag on it, so it's not for all units. Your Moros maybe may not profit from it. Where you really want it, there are the Nagiri are better. He has
Mm,
the brutal one that can be substituted with the new spell, so you don't need him to charge somewhere. Um, I don't know. He has the wishes that you have as a command, and yes, he has the fireball, and you can increase it there. But I don't think it's worth the 205 points for him. I rather take Nagiri and use the fireball on them,
mm,
and have the fireball less, because you if you use the fireball command, you want to use it on like 2 or 3 units at the same time that you get your fireball numbers, and then you maybe don't even need those 5 from the Abyssal Fiend.
yeah,
So I think there are just other options for him. Everything he does, there's another options that can do it better.
yeah. So no changes or for the fiend means much more competing with the other units in support, especially with the Croneas at a similar point value. But then it's um,
Mm, much
mm,
better attacks on the Cronias,
yeah,
a smaller base size on the Cronias, more attacks, even more nerf.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. It's a tricky one. I mean, I like the models that I've built for him, and yeah, I'm not sure if I would still take one. Uh, but then it's like it's an iconic unit. It still adds something. It depends a little bit on the army you build. Like if you have this lot of upper circle units, that the rallying is conditional might not be an issue because it's not you don't have other units there as well anyway. Yeah, but
if you
so
don't have the spellcaster, he's still valuable for brutal.
yeah,
That's an option. He
yeah,
can
it's
be
like
useful, but you need to
yeah,
know how to use him,
yeah.
and for what to use him.
So it's
Then
much
you
more
can take
niche
one,
now. Yeah,
but he can feel, yes, he can feel a niche, but he's not just a, yes, I want that unit. He's
yeah,
not an auto click like the Nagiri for me are just, yes, you go in. Also
yeah,
Acronius just goes in. They go in before I even know what's core and commanders I want to know. Those 2 units are in, and the
yeah,
Abyssal Fiend is more like, okay, I'm missing that, and he could do that for
yeah.
me.
So then let's go to the champions, and this time we start in the right order. We go with the spoiler, who is still limited to 2, still the same stats around. He's 5 points more expensive, still has retaliate, vicious, brutal, crushing, inspiring, and regeneration. But the big but, he now moves one regiment of Molochs in this battalion into the specialist choice. Um, right, it's just one
As
regiment.
it's just one regiment, but he's a champion.
Yeah,
So that's a really strong choice that he moves a unit down. As a champion, he's not a warlord, so you
you
can
can
take
take
it
them to
in
other.
addition to a warlord that moves
Yeah,
another unit down,
and
and that's a really good upgrade.
so point being, you can take two, and as I read that rule, you can then move two regiments down to specialist if you want to. So you have that choice as well. Get your supporting character twice for two regiments if you want to really go heavy into your Molochs and want other units in your support choice. Getting more interesting when you say you can move your Abyssal Guard into core with a Warlord and then still get fill your support or specialist slots with Molochs when you take the Despoilers. So we're getting some interesting combinations in here just by taking different characters.
Yes. And you mentioned those 5 points more for the he got 5 points more expensive. We looked through it, and all champions got 5 points more expensive. That's just you have more commands, you have better commands, and you pay for the commands. And in general, all champions got 5 points more expensive.
Yeah. Right. So looking at the Warlock, still limited to two. Um, Still inspiring, regeneration 5 plus. Firebolt stayed the same, and also the same stats.
Yeah.
So we got Pain Chant for 20 points, Drain Life 6 for 30 points, and now the unique spells. Um, yeah, that's like, so you have your shooting built in with Firebolt. Big question is now taking him and then going with your pit spell. I'm the target pit. I think it's now I remember that the special rules of Baal was from the pit I curse you. So dear listener, my mind works slow. So, but this is the thing, so that's why. So, because I just wanted to say the curse spell, and then I remember, no, it's a dark bit, but there was something in my back of my head. So, right, so the warlock with the bit spell for making you a dread and cloak of death bubble instead of pain chant is an option because you still have your regular shooting attack in case you need it. Not sure if I want to take train life on him.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So there's that. Still worth taking two of them, or one for Bane Chart, one for the unique spell.
That could be an option if you don't play Molochs or other champions. I mean, he is inspiring. He's a good source of inspiring. Mm, with the spells, he might get expensive. He's 135 points base, so you play 155
165.
points for the
Yeah.
Bane Chant one and 165 for the Pit one. But on the other hand, if you take this spoiler, he's also like 160 points. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want a inspiring champion that really does something, you need to calculate around 160 points, 150 around 160. So that's your average champion slot, I think, and then it's a good choice.
Yeah.
So
So we see it's getting more tricky the more champions we look at. As the next one is the Harbinger, your army standard like unit for very inspiring. Nothing new here. Still limited to two. Still with the firebolt. So at least so you can do something with them in addition to very inspiring, which not all of those standard brewery units have, but it's like still a nice choice. Then there is the Ifrit, who is now a spellcaster. So he's got a trait which makes him more interesting, I think, when everything else stayed the same. So also someone who can take the spells now.
Yeah, but the deep downside on the Efrit is that he's not inspiring.
Hmm.
He has the Fireball 7, so you can say, okay, as long as there's no melee, he's just shooting his fireballs and is devastating units. And if the big melee begins, he can be useful with the pit spell that he can now take because he's a spellcaster. But if you want to make him inspiring, there's the artifact for inspiring. That's 30 points. The spell would be 30 points, and then you're already at 170 points, and
Mm.
that's the average champion slot. So he can be good. I think he has his place if you really want to shoot.
Yeah, still cheap.
He yeah.
It's an
So
interest. So it might be an option because he's rather fast. So at the beginning to move him up somewhere that he gives the other unique spell, our whisper spell, to block out commands because you like move him somewhere at the very beginning, first turn, second turn, to just beat him somewhere in the back to be annoying because you have either a unit that you want to kill off or shoot at with fireball or block opponent's commands and they have to hunt him down. So maybe.
and maybe it's an option. Yeah, that's what we like, options for the army.
Yeah.
If
it's, it's
if
not a
you're the casual
no-brainer.
player, I don't think the Efreet is for you. But if you're an experienced player, uh, like Matthias just said, you have so many options with him. He's fast. He can get really annoying with his Fireball 7. Um,
Yeah.
he can do damage, and your enemy might sees that he needs to hunt him down, even if there's bigger threats on the board, because he's just so annoying.
Yeah. So the next unit is also interesting again. There is the Harlequin Blood Mask. So if I'm correct, he wasn't there with the other units before. So it's a new old edition because people know him from
Yes.
Third. The model that we have as the Lonesome Cavalryman is still there in the vault. You can also get it from one of the RPG packs in PVC, get it printed out. We just talked a little bit about conversion possibilities because with the Basilean Godding plastic cavalry set, it might be interesting to simply get those cavalry and convert them with lower abyssal parts, seductress, succubi parts, and things like into abyssal horsemen. What that matters, and if you have then a leftover models, you can use that one for the Harlequin Blood Mask. Or what I'm going to do that we need to figure out at one point is because I have built my Abyssal Horsemen from Nagaris and converted them, that I may get a snake-like model that fits on a 50 mil base to get a Nagari themed Harlequin. So I'm thinking about the options now, what to do with mine, but I will definitely get them for one reason that we'll cover soon. So the new edition is speed 8, melee 3 plus, defense 5 plus, 5 attacks, nerf 13 for 150 points with crushing 1, duelist 2, individual, regeneration, and thunderous 1. He got the Bloodseeker special rule, and if in the same combat as one or more friendly units, this unit adds +1 to its dice rolls when issuing command orders. So it's a interesting
it
one because getting better when being in close combat with command is something new.
and that would be your 4+ elite and vicious.
Yeah. And
And
with him, one regiment of Abyssal Horsemen in this battalion is a core choice. So this is why I want one. So I can actually move my one Abyssal Horseman unit I plan to play into the core section. Uh, Again, being limited to two. So two regiments can be moved if you take two of them. Um, do we love him?
I think he is a great addition to the Abyssal forces. He gives a lot of options, and I really like the command condition.
Yeah,
That's a neat idea. Uh, I didn't see that before. Is there some other? I mean, the Tsirkali have the commander with the once per game you get +1 on your dice rolls.
yeah,
Um, I know of them. I think there's another one who gets some special commands in the Basileans. I don't know what he's doing, but that's a neat addition,
yeah.
especially as a champion. He only has 2 dice, but with the +1, the chances
It gets
increase.
reasonable. Yeah,
And he may be a target for the banner to get a third die. I know it's you take damage the more successes you have, but the more dice you have, the, the higher is the chance to get this command off. And if you
yeah.
charge in, and even if it's on a 4+, it's only a 75% chance. So on 100 charges, 25 times it doesn't work.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. So he might you might want to build him as a command unit, but then getting him into combat first. I mean, it would be very versatile to give him the banner of command, so that you have either the bonus and still have something extra, even if it's not in combat. While he's just getting better as soon as you get a meal. So it's a very aggressive unit to play. But well,
Yeah.
so let's think about certain builds later. And then another new champion coming, or new, not something that moved. The Seductress is now a champion. So limited at
Yes.
two. We have now need to just check the stats are more or less the same. She got her attacks reduced. She got um, still crushing one, dualisty free, ensnare, fly, individual, inspiring, stealthy. She now gets regeneration as well. That's why her points stayed the same, so less attacks, but regeneration instead. So being also a target for the command order. No, she's not a target for the command order. That's why she has regeneration 5+, whereas Sukubi have 6+. And still Ethereal and Wind Blast. It's, how to
Mm.
say, better fitting as a champion over a warlord, but then you now have the options to get 2 times Ethereal or Wind Blast in this army with a flying unit. Not cheap as a champion because your others are cheaper with doing different things.
Yeah, especially she now only has 2 command dice, where she had 3 before, and she
Yeah,
was the same points. I don't, and she has less attacks now. I don't know if that's a
yeah,
good
that's for
trade-off for
regeneration. Yeah,
regeneration
yeah.
play, for regeneration 5+.
No,
So she definitely got a nerf.
yeah. But I also think paying a little bit more because you now can have two of them with 2 times of Ethereal Wind Blast, so to play that one out nicely. Not sure if I would take one, but for different reasons.
Mm.
But it's like, yeah, I think it fits. Seductress fits better into the champion section instead of the warlords for narrative reasons alone. It's
Yeah, you have the named Succubi in the Warlord trade, and the normal is a champion. It
yeah.
fits better.
And then the last one being the bloody cardinal, so the one big guy in the lore, with the story. Uh, the 5 points more expensive as everyone else. Still Life Leech 3 inspiring. Still Dread, Crushing 2. No big changes here. I don't think he needed something different. Uh, Still a nice. I mean, it's getting interesting now because we have our brutal and dread support units, and now also the unique spell. So you can, like, how to say, add brutal via units or work around him by taking the unique spell if you don't want to. Yeah, not sure if the spell replaces the bloody cardinal. I'm still going to take him just because I like the model. What do you think?
I think he's also in a good spot. He's still a really good close combat fighter because he's not an individual. With his 6 attack on a flank charge, he gets the double one. So he can hit hard with his crush 2 and melee 3. Yeah, I don't know if I take him and have a heavy hitter with dread, or take a spellcaster that can stay a little bit back and is a bit safer. I think it's all times a risk to throw in your inspiring models and getting them killed off. He only has a nerf 14 on the defense 4. He's a bit squishy for that he wants
Yeah,
to be a big melee guy. Even if with his life leaks 3, you can just one-shot him.
it's. I mean, with Lively Tree, he fits the Tortured Souls a little bit if you want to build around a Life Leech army instead of the regeneration one. But yeah, so just if you like the model, take him. If you don't like the model, obviously you have other choices as well. So you're not forced to take something you don't like, which is
I mean, he's one of the cheapest champion options as a good all-round melee package for 145 points. So and with the
yeah,
dread aura and not being individual, he is a good package of a small melee character, a melee monster. I'm thinking about a Naka from the Tyrant Realms or other just monster options. He also has the 50 mm base, and he fits in there nicely. That's okay. He's your champion slot monster, I think.
yeah. So then, with the champions done, and being a little bit faster than our other review for unknown reasons this time, maybe because it's getting late already. We're going to the warlords, and here we have some revenue option as well. So first of all, we have the Abyssal Warlord, which is interesting for the single 1 point that he moves regiments and hordes of Abyssal Guard in this battalion and do core. So, well, high def Abyssal Guard core units are back. And I think a lot of people will like this one. A lot of people will question it why it wasn't there in the first place. But now, updated army list, they are back. Just to you just need to take a warlord for it, so you are limited with other choices that will become interesting later when we touch on them. But the warlord itself
He's
is
also the cheapest warlock choice with 180 points, so you can really get
yep,
other elite units instead of your warlord. And one option he also got is that he may issue commands orders up to 15 inches.
yeah.
That is
So
also
it's
a neat touch.
so not your fighting warlord, but really just I think a real warlord now. So he is really that one who is commanding, who get his elite guard on the table, and now more in the supporting role. So you have an option. So yeah, I like him. I also like the newer Racine model that he got. And um, well, let's see. The next warlord is a unique one, and Terrain, Terrain. I don't know. Sorry
Mm,
for not knowing how to pronounce things correctly. Uh,
Yeah.
Terrain. Yeah, I think he was also teased already on the Mantic blog. A little. He's our speed 8 meal 3 plus defense 5 attack 6 nerf 16 for 250. Um, Usual combat. He has fireball. He has fly. Is an individual with regeneration and crushing. Vicious. And the searing pain. Any unit damaged by terrain's combat attacks or fireball cannot recover damage by any means. Iron Resolve, heal, or regeneration. The effect is immediate and lasts until the end of the next round. So it is like, yeah,
Huh. He really upgrades your shooting from your fireballs or the flame bearers
yeah,
because the enemy just can't recover those wounds he got you got on him.
yeah.
That's a
So
nice option to upgrade shooting.
yeah, so in your unit when you get him and to focus fire to simply just make sure that the opponent cannot do anything about it later on. Um, I think it's more useful on Iron Resolve unit than heal or regeneration, unless you really, yeah, because the unless you're sure you waiver the unit so they don't get the pass the nerf test. Sorry, but it's like, yeah, also nice. So a very nice supporting character in a shooting heavy unit or also in melee because it's still a 6 attack with crushing and fly are well as well. He's also, and I will cover Dave the background. I don't want to go into the lore a little bit too much. So a teaser for the listener. Stay uh, watch that place for future episodes to see about the lore things. Then we have
And
our Lord of Lies, the unique fiend with the big axe that is still the same, more or less.
yeah,
Um,
he also got the 5 point increase from the commands, but all others stayed the same. He's basically a big dragon that
mm,
denies command orders. Denying command orders is a bit situational, but it can be worth it. Special as we get more command orders, we also have now the two general commands that every army can use
mm,
with the Blade of Slashing command and the double speed back. Um, so the more commands are coming to the game, the more value I see for him.
yeah, I mean it's still a lovely model, and still expensive. He isn't immune to shooting, so it's still a problem with focused fire. That you can lock him down. So this is not. It's not like you can put him in the open, very in front of the army, and hope that he's doing everything when your opponent is shooting heavy. Um, yeah, but there it is.
You can
It's
place him behind the Molochs with their
yeah,
height 4, then he gets cover. So and he's fast enough to work from there. But if he's behind your models, his aura is wasted. So it's a trade-off if you use that or that. But I think you
yeah,
want to keep the aura for the later of the game, and at the start, just place him in cover
some
and
agree.
wait
Yeah.
for his moment.
So then we got the Archfiend, and here it gets also interesting again. Stay the same points. We have the same stats. They are interesting for two things. They have the gruesome host option. They may take it for free, and if they take it, units of Molochs in this battalion are specialist choices. So this means the moving support to another slot is optional with him. So you don't need to do it if you don't want to do it, but still want to take the Archfiend. I think it's I'm not sure if I would take it for 315 points unless
Mhm.
I'm really crowded in support and want to take that option to move the Molochs down.
I think you rather take him because he moves an unlimited number of Molos to the specialist choices,
Yeah,
rather than what was it, the spoiler,
spoiler.
that only moves one. But if you really want like 4 Molochs in your support,
Yeah,
in your specialist choice, you take the Arc Fiend, put in 4 Molochs and are happy. If you want to play that kind of army, that's a reason to pick him. Without that reason, or to move down a lot of Molochs, like more than 2, or
mm,
even 2, I don't think
yeah.
he's a good option for the 350 points.
So unless you want to move troops down or more than 2 regiments, you would go with the spoiler if you want. And for the Archfiend itself, yeah, that's the he competes a little bit with the Lord of Lies for being those large flying demon monster with high nerve, high attacks for similar points. So it's like yeah, I mean, it's if you want to take one of those titans, it's the question between those two, the Lord of Lies or the Archfiend, and then it depends what kind of list you play. Because if you want to have your Molochs to move around or not, otherwise you would take the Lord of Lies. If you want to take a Titan, if you want to take the cheapest Warlord and have fun with the Abyssal Guard, you take the Abyssal Warlord anyway. If you want to have a more of a supporting characters, you take the unique terrain. And with the next one, if you want to go gargoyles for whatever reason, you take the Suzu the Vial and move 1 unit of gargoyles as core, not auxiliary. Um, 235 points for no changes,
I
I think.
Yeah, no changes. I mean, for only 1 unit for 235 points, yes, you get an cheap unlocking unit with the gargoyle for 105 points.
Mm,
So if you really want to go for those specialist slots, like Berserker spam or something, um, without moving the Molochs down, I think he could be an option because you get a pretty cheap unlock and can take
yeah,
expensive specialists for that. But I don't see much other reasons than that for playing him. I think he is the worst warlord you can pick for the price, and that
yeah. I
one
mean,
unit
it's still the
gargoyles to be moved to core and not auxiliary. I don't think it's worth it.
yeah. I mean, it's still the cheapest flying warlord you can take, but not by much. So the last option is just 5 points more. And yeah, but yeah, what you get? You get the 7 attacks. You get better nerf uh, than the other options. But then it's just if you really, it's it. If you really want to go into a more gargoyle theme with your army, he is a good choice as the unique warlord that fits in. Make one of your units unlocking so that you can go with cheap flying unlocks and some other, or at least one cheap flying unlock. And but yeah, it's not an obvious choice, so you really need to have something in mind for your army if you want to take it. And this brings us to the last one. That's let's call it a surprise. Mautibusu is still there as our unique seductress type warlord. Um, the she changed. Let's call it that way.
Yes.
We go with the whispers of wickedness. So for 15 points, and this doesn't count to the normal unique limit for this spell. So you can take this one twice, even though it is unique. So if you really want to build around locking down commands, you now have about two. If you take her as a warlord, and then put something like on an Efret or the warlock. So might be interesting to build around that, especially when commands get more use, get more, would say not important, but more versatile for the army. So if someone is really building on command orders, you can have a hard counter on that one to a point. Um, yeah, that's the one thing. The other interesting thing, and I have to say, the one reason why I most likely going with her instead of or why I see her as a good replacement for the Seductress Warlord, is regiments of tortured souls in this battalion are core choices.
And
How do we feel about that one?
as we discussed, the tortured souls are in a good spot. They're unlocking, and yeah, I like them as they are now, even if they are not flying anymore. And yeah, even the regiment for 180 points are actually cheap unlocks if you take it that way.
Mm,
And yeah, I don't see a reason not to play like 3 regiments of tortured souls and take the core as just a specialist with the guard and leave them up in the specialist slot and use them up there. So you get options for army building, and you have the choice there what to move down. If you move the abyssal guards down and take the tortured souls, or as a specialist choice, or the other way, you're
yeah.
open
So army
to
building gets
build.
gets tricky now because you really need to think about it. I mean, your cheap unlocking choices are still the regular lower abyssals that come down at the 100 points to be like, yeah, get with those if you want just enough
I
cheap
mean,
unlocks as possible.
you can get a really speedy army if you just if you take the cavalry champion, move
Mm,
one uh, regiment of the horsemen down, take 3 tortured souls, and then throw in like 4 berserker troops. You're super
yeah,
fast on the battlefield, and that can be a very versatile army with the new commands and everything. You can do damage.
yeah. Also, hellhounds are now an interesting option because hellhound troops were uninteresting more or less because they're auxiliary and not that much cheaper, but then they with nimble and they would be an interesting support options for the tortured souls to go with combined. So use the tortured souls regiment to unlocks, combine them with hellhounds as a flanking unit for being fast, move abyssal horsemen down. um, could also combine this with the spoilers to like you move the horseman out of the specialist and then you can move the regiment of Moloch down to specialist to just move everything one step down. You get the tortured souls out of specialist and then they can take berserkers and Molochs there. uh, if you don't want to get the abyssal guard, because once the slots are free you can take them as specialist as well. um, I would say I like almost every change in that army. There's nothing that I would now spot on and say this is bad. I think the worst thing I can think about is that the fiend stayed the same. So it's now not an obvious choice anymore, but more like a thematic one for a support unit. Like if you want like a more simpler gameplay, because the Cruneas and the Well of Souls are more forward thinking tactical choices that need placement and things, while the fiend is simply just a brutal object you move forward into combat. So if you want a more simpler gameplay, you take the fiend. If you want to be more complex, you take the grenadiers or the well of souls. um, I'm not sure how I'm going to build my future army now, because not because I don't know what's good, but because I have too many things I want to take, and I'm not sure which one I prefer. Uh,
Yeah, I think you just need to pick like one or two synergies,
mm,
and say build your army around that, and maybe one, two, three bonus that you may can do, but just pick a theme for your army and go with it. That you max out one or two synergies. But yeah, we will see. I'm very interested on the new Abyssal armies because there's so many options to choose from and to build around.
yeah,
What will people bring? I mean, I'm a bit scared of the 4 times Abyssal Guard Horde, to be honest. But
I mean, it's not
but
cheap.
on the other hand, it's like half your army to have those hordes. But yeah, they're also pretty good.
Yeah,
But and you still can combine them with the horsemen and like a Kroneas on the back, or the spoilers, or a bloody cardinal on the back.
I mean,
So
it's the most tricky thing for me at the moment is really the core, because how to say, for the obvious choice, I like Sukubi. I simply just like the theme and the model, so I would like at least one or two units. But then it's like, do I want to take troops or regiments? Like the three Sukubi troops are annoying. Uh, they are now more could take more damage with regeneration, so they are not like gone that fast. So still worth thinking about it. But then you want unlocking core units. At the same time, I want my tortured souls in core. I have some nice ideas for conversions. I see them very well fitting in my army, so they could be there as well. Uh, so Sukabi troops might look interesting, and then things just stack up in points, and then you want maybe some flame bearers there as well, just to get some core shooting out as supporting. I want my abyssal horsemen there. Berserkers would be nice. Molochs would be nice. Uh, and I think then 2,300 points are already gone. So it's,
yeah.
it's
so, so you have not the curse of the choice, and
yeah.
not
So
the okay, I can only take this because that's the
yeah,
only good thing I have. You're now in a spot where, yeah, you're cursed with choices. So I think that's a good spot to be.
yeah. So for the update army, I like everything that's out there so far. So and I can now get back into building and thinking about conversions, how I get my army fitting. So I'm really looking forward to picking up my army again and start building. So missed out the slow grow for more or less good reason, because I focused on different things and put a hold because I wanted to wait for the new book. But I think for at least for me, it was worth the wait, and I'm really looking forward to playing that army, and especially looking forward to doing some conversions
Yeah,
and all this kind of thing.
and I also think they did a really good job on the upgrade there. And Forces of the Abyss definitely move up from that feeling of the worst army of to choose to
Yeah,
at least upper top, if not
yeah,
top, depends on the options you see.
yeah.
So
So
they,
this depends a little bit on how to play it and if players can make things work. So I'm interested in if it's seeing it's really making the top armies for other players, because also nature looks very good. Not at least some builds not as good as they were, but it's in the right place there as well. And getting the better armies a little bit down and the worse armies a little bit up is, I think, the right way to do things in that regard. So I'm looking forward on your opinion. We have, well, let's first of all, do we the good, the bad, and the ugly? What would be your spots for this for the abyss?
Mm, I really like the Abyssal Guards, so they are definitely the good that they're back, because I also know players that build Abyssal Guards with their own models because there were no official Mantic, and they played them active, and they were really devastated that they are gone. And so yeah, I built my 5 units there and can't play them anymore. So I know they're happy that they are back and that they're in such a good spot. Um, the bad, yeah, the Abyssal Fiend is now in a bit of niche slots for such an iconic model. Uh, to be, I think that's my bad. And the ugly, I don't know. It will be ugly to play against them. That's a thing, because you don't know what you're getting. You're reading a bit Forces of the Abyss, and you can get a speed army to play against. You can get a heavy armor focused army from them. You can get a really hard hitting one of them. They have options now, and I think that's good. That you can't. As an enemy, you don't see, oh, I'm playing a Forces of the Abyss, just do A, B, and C, and then it's an easy win. No, you need to react against that, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's also good to play against. Not even as a player myself, but to play against them will be fun. I want to see those lists that you come up with.
Yeah. So overall, rating them as yeah, several possible builds in a high risk, high reward value, or just tanky hordes or aggressive berserker units. Definitely see not just one build that is viable or good playable, but several ones. And well, dear listener, let us know in the comments what you think about the army, think about a review, what you want us to do better or stop doing. Be it on YouTube, on Spotify. Uh, Join our Discord to interact directly with us and ask us questions and make suggestions for the future. And with this now being almost 2 hours again and it's getting late, wherever you are listening, I wish you a good morning, day or night, and goodbye.
Goodbye.